You know, if you've ever moved to a new country, you know that one of the biggest challenges, maybe the biggest, is finding your community. In this explainer, we're going to follow the story of a Nepali student here in the United States and see how he found a digital answer to that very human problem. It all really starts with this simple but incredibly powerful statement from Suman Adhikari, who's an IT student over in Texas. Truthfully, I felt very lonely. And that's a feeling so many of us can relate to, right? That sense of being isolated when you're trying to figure out a whole new world, thousands of miles away from everything you've ever known.
So let's go back to the very beginning of Suman's journey. Our first section, first steps in a foreign land. This is all about those initial, kind of overwhelming moments when you first arrive somewhere totally new and unfamiliar.
And it wasn't just about feeling homesick, you know? There were these immediate, real-world problems. Suman had to find a place to live. He had to search for a part-time job, all while trying to navigate a brand new system, often with a language barrier. But the really critical part, he was trying to do all of this completely on his own, without any kind of local support network to lean on. So what do? Well, like most of us would, he turned to the internet for help. But this brings us to our next section, the confusing web of information. Because instead of finding clear, simple answers, he just got lost in this tangled and frankly untrustworthy world of online groups and forums.
And this slide, it just lays out the dilemma perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you have the total chaos of general social media. It's filled with misleading posts, potential scams. It's just so hard to know who or what to trust. But on the other side, that's what he actually needed, a safe, trusted community with verified people who are genuinely there to help each other out. And this is where things really start to change in his story. Section 3, a safe community space. After wading through all that confusion, Suman finally found what he was looking for. So, how did he find it? It wasn't through some flashy ad or a random Google search. Nope. The solution came from the most reliable source you can imagine, a personal recommendation. Another Nepali told him about an app that was built specifically for their community. And you know what? That personal connection made all the difference. This is where the story really shifts. Let's talk about Section 4, the feeling of a digital home. Because he didn't just find a useful tool or some information. He found something much, much deeper. He found something that actually felt like a community. So the first thing that stood out was just how practical it was. This app, MeroNEP, brought everything together in one place. You remember those first challenges he had? Finding rooms, looking for rides, part-time jobs, it was all right there. Even really complex topics, like immigration, were being discussed in this single, focused space. But look, the features were just the beginning. What really, truly mattered was the feeling it created. Suman put it perfectly. He said it's the feeling of having your own people in a foreign land. And that goes way beyond just being useful. It taps into that fundamental human need we all have, the need to belong. So what created that feeling? Well, it was a totally different kind of social space. Suman noticed right away that there weren't any of the usual online arguments or unnecessary politics. The whole culture was built around one goal, mutual support. And with most of the users being verified, there was just this immediate sense of trust. And that sense of safety wasn't just a vibe, you know? It was actually baked into the technology. Knowing that your private chats were end-to-end encrypted and that you actually had control over your own data, that helped build the exact kind of trust that was missing everywhere else. Okay, so all of this brings us to our final section, and it's really the powerful message that comes out of Suman's whole experience. Section 5, you don't have to be alone. This is a piece of advice for anyone who's starting their own journey in a new country. So of course, we asked him, what would you tell a new arrival? Someone who's feeling that same loneliness that you once felt. And his answer, it just gets right to the heart of it. He said, you have to do everything yourself abroad, but you don't have to be alone. I mean, what a powerful idea, right? That real self-reliance isn't about being isolated. It's about being empowered by the people around you, by your community. In the end, Suman's story really shows us a simple but profound truth. Life in a new country is never going to be easy, but finding the right community, that can make the whole journey feel so much lighter. It all comes back to the platform's core promise, which is captured perfectly in their slogan, MeroNEP, where even a foreign land feels like your own.